Hi, folks, and welcome to a snowy and cold President's Day. And it's been a while since I had a chance to get a video out, and I wanted to do a couple over the weekend. But for a variety of tasks, I got tied up in a project that I had to get out for my journalism. I am not a registered broker or financial advisor, and any decision that you have to buy your shares, hold on to your shares, sell your shares in Humble or any other company is your decision and yours alone. One thing I did get accomplished today relative to my new channel, and it's just, I've been overwhelmed by the response. So again, I want to thank you. We really just started doing this about 3 weeks ago, almost to the day. And here we already have approximately 2,700 subscribers, and we're over 4,000 hours. The last video we did, which was Friday, I'm doing this on Monday, the 15th of February. Happy Valentine's Day. I meant to say yesterday. Hope you had a good day on that. But the last video we did is now over 7,000 views. So again, I'm overwhelmed at the response and appreciate all the kind comments. As I mentioned in that, can Humble become the leader in instant global commerce? And the reason that I think Humble has the potential for any investor to have their money score a grand slam home run. The reason I think that is because of the quality of the management and the technology that they're bringing to the table, and where we are in the cycle of money development. Money itself was an invention. Coins were an invention. Paper currency were an invention. Credit cards were an invention. As mankind goes along, we keep adding new tools to the financial toolbox. And digital currency transfers through blockchain technology is the latest. And you have to have, there's only really a handful of people around the world, relatively speaking, who are on top of this. And one of those is Brian Foote, who previously had run Block 30. And this is old news, but I'm going to bring this up. This is from August of 2019, and I know a lot of you who are new to this whole story, as kind of all of us are. I mean, this is a relatively new phenomenon, Humble. But here's a news wire that came out back in August of 2019. Block 30 Labs wins Best North America Startup at the World Blockchain Summit. So this was August of 2019. I took out a section here for us to take a look at. It said Block 30 Labs is doing some of the best work in blockchain right now in terms of simple consumer products for every complex new technology. And that, according to Trescon CEO Mohammed Salim, it's companies like Block 30 Labs that will take blockchain from concept to a mass adoption reality. That's what Humble's doing. Brian Foote is the guy that started the Blockchain Labs, and he's just recently rolled that into Humble. Quoting Brian Foote at the time, "We studied the existing Alibaba business model very closely," said Foote, "and the way they engage customers through their online marketplace, then pass them seamlessly through to a digital pay wallet and one-click financial products is masterful. We think that Web 3.0 online marketplace model that solves for the trustless verification IDs, goods sellers, and chain of ownership has some very real implications of how customers may want to utilize blockchains in the future. It will solve a lot of problems in the global markets if executed correctly." So if you just picked up the story of Humble in January or maybe even in December, you may not have had the backstory and the amount of competency that this management team, starting with Brian Foote, brings to the table. So as of today, I have a Twitter handle, and you can see it there. So if you can want to write that down, if you want to follow me, sometimes I'm going to make maybe just a quick update, and I don't want to have to do a video for every time I send some information out. But that way you can follow me on Twitter. So that's number one. Number two, I would say as we go along, and I'm presuming the price is going to continue to go up, but buy as you can, buy the shares here and there would be my suggestion. Again, you have to handle your own finances and what's your comfort level of how much money you want to put into this. But I think we're going to see the opportunity to make some good money over the next 3 to 5 years. So you don't have to just run in. You might say, one person wrote in and said, I'm kicking myself because I bought a bunch of shares when they were low and I sold them about 46 cents and he regrets it. He didn't say if he went back in and bought more shares. I hope he did, but if he didn't, buy some. We're at $1.30 now. This is where we left it on Friday, and of course, we were closed today for President's Day. One of the questions I got, and I want to address it, is some people are concerned about the number of shares that Humble has out there. And how can you think that these prices are justified when you have like 4 billion shares outstanding? I don't have the exact number in front of me. I'm not worried about that personally for a couple of reasons. If you boil it down without going too long here, the board of Humble can address this in a variety of ways. One, they could do a reverse stock split, which might be a little fancy schmancy here if you're brand new. But basically what a reverse stock split could do is the company could say, if Bob, if you have 10,000 shares, and let's say the price of Humble was at $2, which it has not gone to yet. But Bob, if you got 10,000 shares at $2, that's worth $20,000. They could do a reverse stock split of 10 to 1, and they could take the price of Humble or the shares. Bob wakes up the next day, instead of having 10,000 shares, he only has 1,000 shares. But the price that was $2 is now at $20. And so he would still have his $20,000. It would be 1,000 shares at $20 a share. So that's simply one thing they could do as far as the number of shares outstanding. They could also hold some in the corporate treasury where they're not being circulated. And to that end, and we've seen this where Humble has done what I'm going to suggest, what they did with George Sharp and Forwardly. As we go forward, let's say it was 2 years from now or 3 years from now, Humble might grow the company, as others have done, through acquisition of other companies that they may want to buy along the way. And as the stock price goes up, they could use the currency of the corporate stocks to buy out a company instead of actually having to use cash, or do a deal where they use both cash and the corporate stocks. So it's always kind of hard without getting too mired in details. But the bottom line, I would say, for those of you, and I've had more than one person ask if I'm worried about the number of shares outstanding. No, I'm not. What I would be concerned about more right now, and where I would encourage you to look, is as we go forward over the next year, but certainly in the coming months, how's the company doing? How's the marketplace doing? How are the ETXs doing as far as the trading of the different assets? How are the different divisions of Humble performing? How many merchants around the world are we signing up? How is the app being adapted where it's being introduced? Do the customers like it? Are the merchants using the technology? Is that helping their businesses? And that's what I would be looking at. If it's going as successful as we hope it is, then that would be the thing that this business is very scalable, and we can really build a great company around the world. So that's what I'm going to be watching. And we're going to have to wait a little bit for that to come in. The further we go into the year, the more data we'll have. But if you want to focus on things, those are the data points that I would be looking at. Basically, is as we roll out the company, how's the rollout going? Again, I want to thank you all for writing, for joining. Please sign up, join me on Twitter. I'll bring that up again if you missed that and didn't write it down. And in the meantime, please do stay safe, folks. It's going to be warm enough that we're going to be cutting our grass again in about 2 months. So let's just take it easy. Don't rush anywhere on this snow and ice. Stay warm. Look out for your neighbors. And in the meantime, thank you again for joining us. Take care.